guys, it's Becky, and I hope that you guys are having a fantastic weekend. I wanted to grab what remains of my Softflex Safari kit because there were still some things that I wanted to make within this, and I thought I would just kind of try to figure out a few things with you guys, because there's, some stuff that we can use, like this super adorable ceramic zebra bead. Hole goes front to back on this. I think this is the best way for him to look, whoop, versus facing away. But yeah, so we're gonna make a little necklace or bracelet. I haven't decided what with this guy and some of these ovally beads. I mean, a bracelet would be probably one of the easiest ways to do this. We could stack these up and have them go all the way around. Or maybe I'll do a necklace with them. We'll get that figured out. I do have something that I think would go really well with these black and white guys, and it's I got this strand from Danielle Wickes, and it's this John Bead czech strand, and like I just got it, but it's got these sort of white clear things that would go black and white. It's got these stripy toothy beads. I call them teeth because I don't know what the actual name for them is, but they look like teeth. And yeah, I think these and those might actually make a good addition to what we're using, and it might make for a good necklace. So we will figure that out when we get to it. But that's an option. So I might be pulling some stuff from stash in order to round some things out. But yeah, I want to make something with my zebra guy. Actually, let me pull these out so that I'm not putting them away. We're going to be using them. Let's go ahead and set them up here out of the way with some of these other beads, or some of these little bead sections, so we know that that has a plan-ish. But I also have some additional beads that I might add to this if I do decide to go with like a necklace side. And it was these, they're like black Czech glass kind of English cut beads that are about 6 millimeter. That feels right to me. Yeah. But yeah, I think they would also add something to that. So I may be pulling from this. I haven't decided yet. That's the fun of this, is we're going to figure this out as we go. I might not use them. I might. But that's one thing that I want to make. I want to make a zebra bracelet or necklace. Haven't decided which. I definitely want to use this elephant. And this elephant bead, the hole goes, you can see right there. See the light through it. It goes from the foot to the top. And I already used an elephant bead in one of my tutorials. It was the one where I did 5 different bead boxes and made the same style of bracelet. And so I used the elephant from this for that tutorial, and I'll link to that in the description if you'd like to see it. But I also wanted to do more with these pyramid beads. Like, these are some of the larger pyramid beads with a great travertine finish, and I love 2-hole beads because you can do some really fun designs with them. And so I wanted to use these too. I already used a couple in an earring tutorial that I already did, and I'll also link that in the description so you can see that. But I think that's what I want to do, is I want to make myself like a necklace or something with these, and I want to use these turbine beads as well because these are such a great color match for our elephant friend, and so it would really pull things together for me to have all of these colors together. Let me grab these out of here, but I love these turbine beads, and I definitely want to use them in a design, and I think that they would go great with these all together. So let me get these guys out of here. And we'll get that figured out. And I think I know how I want to do this one. I don't need to do as much decisioning on this as the other, and it'll probably end up being like the first project that we do. So I'm going to leave these out down here instead of putting them up here and sorting them out of the way. But then there were these amazing little tiara cast fan connectors that have the hole up at the top and then holes all along the sides. And I definitely want to use these for something, and I think we're gonna do some earrings with it. So let me try out a couple of layouts real quick and see how I like them. Not those ceramic beads. Maybe. No. This guy. No. I think getting closer. That. Ooh, yes. Yeah. So we can have that up at the top, and then we could have some of these two-color tigery. I know it's Safari Kitten tigers do not live in Africa. But maybe these, and then we could have a couple of drops from there. Oh, and I could use these little hand grenade ones. This sparkly guy, and I could do some drops from there. Okay, yes, this is going to be earrings. All right, let me get all these guys out, and then I will set them up and out of the way like that. I like that. I like it. I like it a lot. All right, earrings up here. We'll make some drops, so I'm going to want to use some head pins for those. Got some head pins. All right, and then I want to do maybe a necklace, probably a necklace with these red beads and the ceramic beads. I love the red beads. I love these ceramic beads. Yeah. Yeah, I think I might do a bit of a necklace with this. It's entirely possible I'll need to add some chain. Whoop! Where are you going? To this one in order to get that through. Oh, yeah, these guys too. Let's get them involved. No, not that. Yeah, I might be doing a little bit of a basic necklace with these guys. And then I've got 2 more tassels. Let's see what we can do with them. Oh, definitely. This guy, this, and this. Yep. Okay. Yeah, no, I got another pair of earrings planned out here with some tassels. Earrings here. Let's move these guys to another spot up here. Okay, so I mean, we're reducing the amounts of. Should we put this with these? I don't know if that'll be good or not. Maybe. Oh, you know what? Let's put these guys in here with this. Yeah. Here we go. That's the ticket. Okay. And maybe a couple of these. Maybe not. All right, I'm gonna actually maybe put these spacers away. I don't know that I need that much gold with this. But yeah, we'll do a little necklace with this. I might add some chain as well. But yeah, we're going to use some of those ceramic beads. We'll use some of that. We'll do ourselves a little necklace with those. All right, so there's not a lot left, not a ton. I could probably put these in with my stash at this point. But we'll see after I get done making, because this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 5 projects that I'm going to be making all in a row. Just going to sit here and make some stuff today. As far as what other materials I'm going to be using, I've got my flush cutters, some chain nose pliers. I have some round nose pliers in case I need them. I've got some magical crimpers for crimping stuff, because I'm probably going to be doing some stringing. I'm going to be making a decision in a minute as to which of my Softflex beading wires I want to use. I've got garnet, copper, butterscotch, bone, and I think all of these would look good with this, and I just want to decide which way I want to go with it. I'm leaning real hard towards the bone. Actually, I made the decision just now. This is what we're doing. We're having that. When I go to make earrings and things and the other stuff, I've got some. I really need to grab my next 22 gauge of the gold the thing, because I am running low. But that's okay. I've got vintage broads. They're gold that I can work with, and I've got some head pins for my dangles there. And I think if I do stringing for this, I may also use the bone color for another necklace. I think this is going to be a beaded chain if I do make a necklace with that. So we can do that, and I've got some chain in here that I can pull out and use if we need to make it a little bit longer. And I also have this little strand of, these are 4mm melon beads with a red color with some gold wash on it. And I got these from Beadbox Bargains. It's just sitting in my stash. But I think that those would go really well with the rest of these beads. And in fact, we might just be stringing. And if we do string, I think I might go with garnet for my color. Okay, so we've got those. I've got some 2x2 crimp tubes for if I'm stringing things. I think I'm good. We're ready to get started. All right, let me move these guys out of the way so we can get started with our elephant. For this, I'm going to be, let's lay it out so we have the right amount of beads. I think this is going to be like a choker style. I think that's what I want it to be. And I'm going to be using like, the 2 needle right angle weave sort of thing. But we're going to be going through instead of having beads on either side when we cross through, it's going to just go through each side of the thing. You'll see it when we do it. I'll show you what we're doing. And I believe these holes are big enough that we can have 2 strands of beading wire going through at the same time. Let me just double check, because that's something you got to check before you start actually like putting stuff together, is that the holes will accommodate 2 strands of beading wire, and they do easily. I can get 2 in there. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. All right. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we've got 5. Okay. I think this is definitely going to be long enough. And then I've got a couple of extra turbines I could do something with. I don't know what. I still have all of these in here. We could probably do a bracelet. Yeah. Bracelet or something with these extra turbines. I'll figure that out. Okay, so I've got this all laid out. I'm going to pull off some beading wire, and I'm going to go one. This is just the length of my thing. One. It's 15 inches. 2 and 3 for good measure. If I have extra, that's fine. Often, if I have enough for like a bracelet or earrings, you see me use smaller pieces of wire for other things, it will absolutely be fine, but I want to make sure that I have enough so I don't have to add more. That's what I don't want to do. All right, so I'm gonna just string on a jump ring on the end, and I can attach clasps or extra things. At that point, I just want to have something for attaching things to on the end, because I haven't decided which way is going to be which. Got a little thing of lobster clasps if I need to do clasps, or I might use a different type of clasp. But this way I can get started and start making it without having to make that decision right away. So I'm just going to put it, this is a closed jump ring. It's about a 6 millimeter. It's pretty small, but not too small. But it's something that I can attach things to with another jump ring later. And I'm just going to make a little loop here. And I know it's the middle because my two ends are close together over here. And I'm going to grab a crimp bead. I'm just going to crimp it before we even get started. One of the reasons I was being a little bit picky about the wire that we're using is that the wire will be visible. It will be a part of the design. All right. That's going to be a good loop size right there. Something that I've started doing like within the last maybe month or so is when I'm filming, instead of bringing my stuff close to my face, I've been bringing it close to my camera because I use a Google Pixel 7 Pro for filming. It's my camera on my phone because it's a really decent camera. And once it's on my phone, then I can, edit in the software that I have on that and then upload to YouTube if I need to. Just all with that, without having to transfer it, without having to download things, without having to do things on my computer with it. Anyway, so what I do is if I want to see what I'm doing close up right now, I'm going to be bringing it to this and I'm looking on my screen. I can see my fingers, all of this on my screen, and it's way closer and I can see it better than if I pull it out of camera shot and try to look at it that way. So it's a habit of wanting to bring it close to your face to see it, but I've got my phone right in front of my face, so I may as well just be using this this zoom feature so I can see even better what I'm doing. And just to describe what I was doing, with the magical crimper, there's a little concavity in here, and you squeeze it flat and then rotate it, and it mushes down the edges, so you have a nice round bead of crimp instead of something jaggedy and pokey and all of that. So, yeah, I just thought that might be a good tip for folks who were starting out doing some recording, is if you're using your phone camera, you can use the phone screen as your way of viewing what you're seeing and seeing it better, and that way you can make sure that you're still in camera range, because it was a struggle, and a lot of you have been here with me for the struggle to try and get better at staying in in camera, and I'm not always 100% on it. I am not, and I'm trying to be so much better, and that's been helping. Making sure that I'm using the screen on my phone that I can see that I'm already recording on. Because if I can see it through here, then that means you can see it too. Right there. So let's go ahead and get this pyramid bead strung on. One thing to watch out when you are stringing pyramid beads is because they've got that bump on one side, you want to make sure that you're stringing them the same way. Unless you want some of them to be facing the other way. I don't know. You do you. However you want to do this. But yeah, that's the one thing to be mindful when you're doing it. And now I'm going to take both of my ends of my wire after I've got both ends going through each hole on my pyramid bead, and I'm going to put them through a turbine bead going in opposite directions. So this one goes right to left, and this one will go left to right. So they crisscross. And I know it's more of a thing for kindergartners sitting in circle and reading books, but I like to, in my head, do crisscross applesauce when I do this. I do it in my head. You don't have to do the same thing as I do in my head. My head is a weird place. Not everyone likes to be there. But yeah. And that's why the color of the wire was so important, is because it is an essential part of this design element. So now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put on another pyramid bead. And this is a really, really simple and yet really effective way of making and stringing these beads on. So let me just adjust my tension so that it's about even, like that. And now another turbine bead. It's entirely possible with all of these, it may still be a little too long to be a choker. And if that's the case, I'll take these out again and I'll do this again. And I'm just being kind of gentle with my tension on this wire. I'm letting the wire kind of like tell me where it wants to stop. Try not to force it. Boop. And now a pyramid bead. This is super simple and a great way to get a really effective necklace. I thought I almost put that on the wrong way, but it's because this is flipped. And that's fine. It'll flip as long as they're all facing the same way, no matter which way you're looking at it. All right, let's get all the way through to where my elephant is. But I know yesterday I was having a real rough day. Well, it wasn't yesterday, it was a Friday night after a rough Friday. It posted Saturday morning though, so a lot of you didn't see it until yesterday or even today, where I was just like, I just want to bead. I just want to do that. I just wanted to let you guys know I had a really great Saturday. Went and did some antiquing with my ex-sister-in-law, which, like, she's my kid's dad's sister. But I always really liked her, so we are friends. So even though, and we'll go over to her house, me and my son, so he can hang out with his cousins and stuff. We went antiquing and, like, just had a vent sesh, and it was so good. And it's a really great thing to be able to be with your friends sometimes when you're having a rough time, and it was absolutely needed. But I absolutely also needed to make some things with y'all. But I just wanted to thank everybody for your super kind comments, and for watching and just for being here with me, because it does make a difference having, friends, having people, and I've made so many great friends so far, just through this channel, and it's kind of amazing to me what a great community it is. Like, you know, there's this trope of don't ever read the comments on a YouTube video because, you know, they're typically have always been like just terrible, terrible. But I have not found that to be the case with the beading community and with the crafting community. Like, there's so much kindness in the comments and in just how everybody is with each other in this part of the YouTube community. And I love that about it. And that's what makes me really happy to be part of it right now, is just so much love and so much kindness. And it's one of my favorite things. Look at that. Oh, actually, I think this is going to be long enough. And if it isn't long enough, I can do extender chains. So there we are so far. Let's get a little closer so you can see. And now I'm going to do, instead of going through the turbine in opposite directions, I'm going to go through my elephant in opposite directions. And you know what? I didn't double check whether we could get 2 strands of wire through the elephant, but we're going to find out now. We're doing it live. There we go. So I'm going to go through top to bottom and then bottom to top. And we are just going to find out if these guys can coexist inside the same elephant. I need a better view. So let's go see what I'm doing here. Ooh, 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 it's going. It's going. There we go. I got both of them in here. All right. Now, I'm definitely going to want him to be in front of the wire that's going behind him. And then the next one will go through here to the next pyramid bead. All right, y'all. I'm going to do the rest of these off camera, and I will join you and we will see how long it is, and I will show you how to finish it in just a minute, just for brevity's sake, so we don't have like a 5-hour, I mean, it might end up being a 5-hour, I don't know, because I still have all these other projects I want to do. So let me get the rest of these strung up, because it's going to be exactly the same thing as what I did over here. All right, so I finished up stringing this, and over here on this end, I went ahead and made a little loop and made sure that the loop attached to one of these closed jump rings for this necklace. Now, the necklace is a little bit too short to be a choker all the way, so I did measure out some of this. It's like a 2-size curb chain. I don't know the exact name of this type of chain, but it's really pretty and I like it. And I think it came in one of the bead boxes that I got recently. It was probably in the Fairy Tale Follies box. Seems like that's what that was from. So in order for this to fit around my neck, I am going to be using a jump ring and attaching this length of chain to the back so that it will be closable. And I also went and grabbed my little elephant bracelet that I made, just so that we're, you know, thematically here on this. And I actually love this. I love the way it looks, and I'm really happy with it. Let me get my lobster clasp that's going to be my closure over here on this side. Remember, I just started with just a closed jump ring just to start, and I can put this guy on here on the back, and I can have myself an elephant and pyramid bead choker. It's very African. There we go. My guy right there. And I did, while the camera was off, I did make a few decisions about my other projects, and I got these all set out and ready to go to be able to make some things with it. So let's make a zebra bracelet while we are here. And this way you don't have to sit there while I'm hemming and hawing and making decisions. I already made the decisions. I already measured things out. So I'm going to make a little zebra bracelet. I broke into that John Bead strand and I pulled off these two beads because I think that they will look great with the zebra on here. And I also opened up that little strand of these black English cut beads to go as kind of spacers on this. I've got a little lobster clasp here, and I made a little extender chain with a drop, and I made this so that when I'm putting my bracelets on, I like to be able to have something to hold on to while I'm wrapping it around my wrist so that I can just click it right in there. So that's what we're going to be doing with this. And let me grab some beading wire. I decided on the bone color with this. So let's get this. It's going to be a real quick bracelet where all we're doing is stringing. So let's go ahead and get started on this. I'm going to, instead of doing a jump ring for my loop on this, I'm just going to string my clasp right onto it. Oh, you know what I meant? I forgot. We need a crimp bead because I'm going to crimp this onto the end and then we're going to string it. And it's just going to be a real quick, super simple bracelet with zebras. All right, let's get this scooched. It's a good size loop. And let's go ahead and do this. Can't remember if I showed you guys or talked you through doing this, but you squeeze the little crimp bead with these magic crimpers and they've got that concavity. So it makes, folks call this a ravioli. I like to call it a ravioli too because that's exactly what it looks like. And then when you open and close it and rotate it while you're doing that, it smushes down the edges. So you end up with a nice smooth bead and you don't have to use crimp covers or anything like that. It's super easy for me to use. I did have to practice a little bit, but once you've got it down, you've got it down. So I'm just going to be stringing these beads on here. And I've got a little bit of wire here. I'm just going to tuck this inside that bead a little bit. That way. Just have a little extra. And one of these. And a long one. And I thought about maybe doing these with like a beaded chain because these beads would be beautiful on a beaded chain. Just making some links with them. I think it would be really gorgeous actually. But I'm feeling bracelets with this. And so I'm gonna go with what my gut says. Let's do bracelets. And now I've got my little stripy chiefs. And these probably aren't teeth beads, but that's what they feel like to me. So that's what I'm calling them. And I am looping my wire on my tools. So I'm going to move my tools out of my way so that I'm not messing things up. But I really needed to use these black and white stripes with my zebra bead. My zebra. All right. I'm gonna just slide this guy right here in between these beads. Actually, is that too close? No, it's not too close. I think that's perfect. Perfect. And we got our other one. I'm gonna slide that on there. So this bracelet is super quick, super easy, and really effective. I'm hitting the things. All right. Now, I didn't do this dangle on camera because when I do my earrings, I am going to do a dangle on camera. So I made the other dangle, or I'm going to make the other dangles the same way I made this one. So you can just extrapolate. All right, let's see how long this is. That is perfect. So now we're gonna get another jump ring. And a crimp tube. Okay. And you just feed that back through the crimp tube. I'm just going to go ahead and stick it all the way through this last bead here too. Because if I can, I like to have a little extra wire going through the bead next to the crimp. If I can't, let me bend this so that we're not tightening it up too much. If I can't fit it in there, that's okay, because these are strong crimps and it's strong wire. But I do like to have a little bit extra. It's a preference thing. I'm going to go ahead and crimp this and rotate it so that our ends get all smoothed down. All right. Yeah. And when I went ahead and made some decisions off camera after pulling everything out so that we could just go right through into making these. And sometimes it's enjoyable to watch the process. That's okay, because we're just getting things done, and I don't want this to be like such a long video that you can't stay for the whole thing. I'd like you to be able to have a little sense of accomplishment at the end of it, you know? All right, so there's our zebra. I like him. I'm going to set this aside, and let's look at the earrings. So I am going to make the second earring outside of the off camera. So I'm just going to do one earring on camera. And for this, I've got this gorgeous tiara cast link, and I'm going to use 3 of these holes along the bottom. I'm going to use the outside holes and the innermost hole for that. And I'm just going to make some drops real quick with this. And where are my head pins? I've just got some ball head pins here that I'm going to be using for this. And for each of them, I'm going to start with this gorgeous fiery orange fire polish bead. We're going to make a wrapped loop, but before we wrap it, we're going to connect it to our tiara cast finding. So I'm just going to fold this over and around. I'm going to set this down and make the next drop. And the drop that I used for this, by the way, I made the exact same way. I just put on the bead, wrapped the loop the same way, and then it's attached to a jump ring, so I didn't have to attach it to something first. I could just wrap it right away. Yes, before I start making my loops, put the beads on first. You have to do this in a specific order, Becky, because once you start making the loop, you can't fit the beads on. At least not very easily. I'd like my loop to not be that wonky. Come on, friend. Where are you going sideways on me? There we go. That's a better loop. It's not perfect, but it's better. All right. Okay, so I've got these drops and they are ready to wrap. And then I also want to make a wrapped loop with my large amber colored bicone. Let's move back so it's not so blurry. There you go. So let me grab my 22 gauge wire. I'm going to keep this handy for the next one too. I'm just going to make a wrapped loop for the top of it. And this wrapped loop can wrap before I hook it onto something, because this is where the ear wire will hook onto it. So it is fine if we start out with it being closed. Go. And I mentioned this before when I make my loops, but I like to put it on the spool first, make my top loop, and that way I have the distance of the bead that I can take into account when I guesstimate about 2 inches from the bottom of the bead to go ahead and cut for my other loop. This one is going to need to be perpendicular, so if I've got my loop facing me this way, I can bend this backwards that way. And this is one where you kind of have to think about which directions your loops are going because of the way that you might want this to hang. Other ones we're not going to have to worry about, because like with the tassels can turn any way they want. I'm just leaving that open a little bit there so I can slide my fan connector on. Then I can just wrap the rest of the way up around this core and have myself the start of an earring. All right, there we go. And now we're going to attach. I'm going to start from one end and move to the other end. So we'll start over here on the left or right. I don't think it matters too much. I'm not paying too much attention to where my wraps are ending. I know lots of folks like to do that, but I'm just trying to get this wrapped and made, and oh boy, these ball head pins have very strong wire. Very strong wire. I'm just trying to get this wrapped and smoothed out without breaking it off. Because that can happen with some of these if you're a little too rough with it. All right, so we've got our one with the hand grenade on there. Now we're going to have the one with the gold bead in the middle. Let's close that. Now, extra. Tuck that in. One more dangle. And then these earrings will be ready for an ear wire. We can move on to our other earrings. Yes, ma'ams. We are using up the rest of our beads from this kit. Like, I don't know if I mentioned this already. I might have. Sometimes I forget what I've already said. But when I opened it, I realized that this was a whole bunch of my favorite colors. It is one of my favorite kits. And I really, really didn't want this to be one of those ones where I'm like, oh, I love it. And then I make two things and then get distracted by something else and forget to make all of the things that I wanted to make with it. So I am doing that today. I'm catching us up, getting all of these ideas that I had in my head out and made. And I love these so much. Okay. So that is, let's see, we did our choker, we did with the elephant, we did a zebra bracelet, we did one pair of earrings. Now we're going to do a second pair of earrings. And I'm just going to keep the craft wire out for this one, because what I want to do is just get a whole bunch, like maybe 6 inches, 7 inches of craft wire, and we are going to start at one end. I'm going to make a wrapped loop, and this is what the about 2 inches from the end. Bend it back like that, and then around your round nose plier. And this is what the ear wire is going to hang on to, so I can go ahead and wrap it now before I start stacking my beads, because we're going to start from the top down. All right, and now I'm going to put my hex bead on first, then my round bead. And I like this because it gives me a nice variety of shapes with some sparkle and with some other textures to it. Really like that. And now I want a loop down here at the bottom. And you notice I have a lot of this left. That's because we're going to wrap it back around these on our way back. It's one of the decisions that I made. I want to do a bead wrap earring. So I'm going to put my tassel down here at the very bottom. This loop that I just made. And now that my tassel is attached, I'm just going to do 2 loops around there. And then this is, I'm going to call this the front. And when I do this for my next one, I'm going to probably want to wrap it in the opposite direction. But I'm just going to take this wire, pinch the bead, pinch the wire, and wrap it up and around these beads as I go up this stack once, and then one more time. You can adjust these beads the way you want. Then up here at the top, just going to wrap it around a couple of times. Get myself a nice fat wrap. Tuck it in back. Like this. So this is my second pair of earrings, and I will make the second one off camera. Don't worry. Because you need a pair, and when I do, I'm going to make sure that I twist it in the opposite direction so that I have some symmetry. All right, final one. Final one, we are going to make a necklace. And I'm going to use this garnet color craft wire, or beading wire. And I sort of laid out an idea of how I want my beads to go. So I'm going to do one section on camera, then I'll turn the camera off and do the other one. And when I turn it back on, we will see how I attach it, because I don't think I'm going to have enough beads for just finding the center so that I can string it on 1/2 using my bead stopper. But yeah, I don't think I'm going to have enough beads with this to do the full length, but I am going to make myself a little focal with this tassel, this drop bead. I think I want it pointing that direction, and this small cathedral bead. So let me get some more of this craft wire, because this is going to be another wrapped loop link. And yeah, let me actually put these guys on here first, and then I can do my first wrap loop, and then I can do the second one and attach my tassel. 2 inches from the top, bend it back and then forward. It makes kind of a shepherd's crook, and then you pull it all the way around to make a lollipop. Alright, it's going to be the top of my little focal. Now I want 2 inches from the bottom, thereabout. Might be 2.5. I'm eyeballing it. I'm measuring with my sole, just like you do with vanilla and garlic. You gotta measure with your sole. That's how it works. Lost my guy. That's fine. And with this, it doesn't matter which direction the loop goes, because the tassels don't have a front and back really with them. Although, let's calm you down a little bit more. My tassel's getting a little rowdy over here. Can't be having rowdy tassels, although maybe that's the point of tassels, is that you have a little bit of rowdiness in your jewelry. You know, I didn't used to be a tassel guy, and then like I just started using them more, and I love them. I think they're fantastic. So I was like, what's the point of them? Rowdiness. Being rowdy. All right, so this is going to be that, and I did go ahead and open up that strand of these melon beads, little 4mm melon beads. While I was considering all of this, I decided I wanted them to be my separator between my bigger bead elements in this necklace. So they're going to be on either side of my dangle. And I'm just going to do 3 at a time. 1, 2, 3. I like that they are red and that they've got the gold, and it just makes all of this kind of come together a little bit better than I could have planned on my own with the red and gold. Hold on, is this the right? So yeah. So I'm going to have 3 of these on either side of my tassel. And whatever I do on the right side, I'm going to go ahead and do on the left side. And I'll just do the left side off camera. I just want to stack these on here. So I want my ceramic beads to come to the party. And I went ahead and grabbed these gold spacers so that they could kind of cushion or sandwich or surround our ceramic beads, because instead of like the bead caps that hide the beads, these kind of just highlight them. They're like, hey, This is a special bead. Pay attention to this bead. Like that. So let's grab a few more of these. 1, 2, 3. And then a couple more of these guys around my red ceramic bead. I love ceramic beads lately. I've been just like, ceramic beads, more of these, please. I love them in all of the bead mixes. I love them in strands. I just love them. Okay, and I don't think I had enough of these because whatever I do on one side, I want to do on the other. So these guys are for the other side. And I didn't have enough of those for all of the ceramic beads, but these ones are kind of smaller anyway, and they might have gotten lost amongst these spacers. And that's fine. That's just fine. All right, 1, 2, 3. And now I'm going to use some of these kind of goldish sparkle beads too for more length. Like I said, even with all these beads, it still isn't long enough for a whole necklace, so I am going to be adding chain at the end. And we can do that together. We can absolutely do that together. 1, 2, 3. Because that's the best thing about beading with friends. You don't have to bead alone. Like this. All right, so this is going to be my 1, 2, 3 on this side. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do the same stringing pattern on the other side. I'll do that off camera, and when I get back, we will finish up this necklace and do a wrap-up of everything that we watched. All right, here we are. We are all strung up, and this is not long enough to really be a comfortable length for me, so I am going to be adding some chain to the back side of this. I'm going to go ahead and leave this on this side. I'm just going to scooch this over here to this end, and I'm just going to attach my beading wire directly to my chain like that, and it's going to be just fine. So I'm going to grab my crimp bead, and I'm going to grab this end of the chain. And I mean, you could use a jump ring, and if you're more comfortable with wire guardians on your beading wire, you could use one of those too. But like I said, I have never had anything that I made with the Softflex medium wire break on me, so I'm absolutely happy to just string it on like this. So I've got that attached there. And I'm doing it fairly close to the end of this wire, just so that I can not be cutting off two shorter ends. Just cut off one longer end. I gotta make it a little bit rounder. All right. So now that I'm crimped, I don't know if these check beads will go. Nope, it won't fit through two of those. So I'm just going to head and cut this close to the crimp, because we can do that with this wire and these crimp beads. They are very durable. And I just slid my work up close to there. So now on this end, I'm going to want to figure out where I want this to be attached to on my chain. So I'm going to pick this up and kind of put the chain behind my neck, get it to the right length for me, figure out where on the chain that would connect to, and it is right here. There you go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this smaller link in between. This is like curb chain, but with alternating sizes. So I'm just going to cut this smaller link here between these segments. And then pull these off. And I'm going to attach this to the other side of this chain. And I can hear you screaming, saying, Becky, don't you need to cut it in half or something? And I could do that before I attach it or after. It's not that big of a deal for me. So I'm just going to cut it after I attach this end, because that way my necklace won't go flying while I'm doing all my other stuff and my beads won't fall off. Yes, I know I have one of these. It's fine. It's fine. So I'm going to just take the other end, put it through my chain, put it through my crimp bead. Okay. Make sure we're still moving. And crimp. All right. Now that my bead is attached to my chain, this isn't big enough for it to fit over my head. So I am going to need to open and close it in the back. And so I'm going to find myself this link that's in the middle of this, right here. It's this link here. I'm just going to cut that. Actually, no, I'm going to cut this one right here between it and the other, so that my lobster clasp can just clasp onto this end. And it doesn't have to, I don't need to put an extra ring on there. That is smart. There you go. So it's almost in half, and then the length of the lobster clasp will make it about the same length. So I'm not going to add any extra rings, because the lobster clasp can just clasp onto there. But I am going to go grab myself a little jump ring to attach this lobster clasp onto this end of the chain. I'm having a lot of fun. I'm just making some real fun things. And I am going to... I'm really happy that I got to use most of this, because this was one of my favorite of the kits. I love reds and I love earthy tones and I love when they come together. And this was the elephant bracelet that I made, just to remind you. So I went and grabbed that when I was doing a bunch of stuff off camera. I also made the second pair for each of my earrings, so you can see them. See, I've got it twisted the other way. So that's another thing that I did when I was off camera, is finishing that up so we can have completed jewelry when we do our little recap in a minute. All right, so let's get our jump ring and our lobster clasp attached to this end of the chain, and then we will have a finished necklace. right. So we have 2 necklaces. We have 2 pairs of earrings. And we have 1 bracelet. And we can add these to the other bracelet and earrings that I've already made with this kit. Oh, I also made one of my beaded chain necklaces I made with this kit as well. So that's, why did I forget about that? That was one of my favorite things. And so I still have, after 3 necklaces, 2 bracelets, 3 pairs of earrings, I still have a few beads left. I might make, I don't know, another bracelet or something with some of these. Not today though, because I think I might be all tuckered out with this, but in any case, we can put these back in my stash and I can reuse this organizer for a different kit. But I wanted to get this done. I wanted to get these worked with before I forgot it and moved on to something else, because I really, really loved this kit and I wanted to make things with it. And it's been a lot of fun, and I'm really glad that you guys were joining me for this. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. Hopefully maybe you might have learned a couple of new tricks you can use with some beading wire and some 2-hole beads to make some different things. Or you're just reminded of some things that you've made before in other ways and other capacities. But I'm really glad that you've joined me. And like, oh, this is the thing I keep forgetting. If you like what I'm doing, hit the like button. If you want to see more, hit the subscribe button. We are getting really close to that 1,000 subscribers, guys. We are just a few people away, maybe a dozen or so. When I do, I'm gonna do a giveaway, and we will give away some of the jewelry that I've made. And I think that would be super fun, because I just want to thank my friends for hanging out with me and being here with me on this ride. And I hope you guys have a great weekend. Bye!